I get a call like a week later from Dylan, the creative director of Adidas, and he was like, hey, randomly the Crosby Foundation reached out and they want to do a project with Adidas. Would you be interested in bringing them into the fold? And I said, so you're saying it would be Adidas, Malbon, and Crosby in a project together with all three entities? Hi, welcome back to Malbon Making Of. Adidas is obviously one of the most famous and most performance-driven apparel companies in sport and crossover into fashion. Years ago, I started speaking with the people over at Adidas and talking about what would it look like if Malbon and Adidas combined into to do a project. So I was at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am AT&T Pro-Am, and I was with my friend Schoolboy Q. We were going to be there for the week caddying for Q, and the Adidas people, the marketing team, the creative director Dylan, wanted to come up and talk about what a project could look like. Really had a good chance to meet these guys. We had dinner with them, we hung out, and we started to talk about what if we did a project together, what could it look like? We talked about it, this would come out in a couple years. Adidas takes a long time to get, big boats take slow turns, so it was known that this was gonna take some time, and we started talking about Bing Crosby, family legacy, and what the Crosby name means to golf, and how Harry's dad, Harry Crosby's father, Bing, was did so much for golf. When you have like Sam Snead and all of the old pro golfers back in the day, they were just like traveling from town to town doing golf tournaments. They weren't making a ton of money, they weren't famous, but the entertainment relationships that Mr. Crosby had were through music, through art, through actors and film industry people, and he started doing these tournaments. These tournaments were for him and his friends to play golf with some of the biggest known pro golfers around. So basically the design comes 100% from the inspiration of the original Clambakes. So the silhouettes were very much vintage, very much traditional, but it was modernized into the future, with the great help of Adidas that's very performance-based, very much driven by performance, materials, textures, etc., that modernize these classic silhouettes that were much more famous back in the day. And working with the team in Carlsbad, it was great. There's a lot, they threw a lot at the project. They have a big team from production to design to the marketing crew, communications. It was great to work from the beginning of the concept all the way through the design, through the fitting, through the sampling. It was also great because my wife Erica did the women's collection, and that was super cool too, that we were both designing off the same inspiration, but seeing how different it is for women versus what it looks like for men.
Steven and I have always been fans of the brand. It's a heritage brand that has been around for many decades. It's a family brand that is owned by and started by a family, so I think there's sort of similarities there. But in terms of their involvement in the intersection of fashion and sports, that is something that we've always respected, and how they've been able to play with different people in entertainment as well as professional sports, and how that has intersected and how they have created collections around that. I think the Bing Crosby aspect and what that meant how he brought entertainers into the golf space, and sort of what we've been able to do with Malbon, and telling that story about entertainment and golf and how they play together, and two totally different worlds, but how they connect through the love of golf and playfulness and fun and bringing people together. And so that was really the inspiration. So when we came to designing, we looked at silhouettes that we felt were classic and that we felt were timeless. And that's something that I think Adidas has really done well with, sort of just some of the classic silhouettes of the footwear or the styles that they've done, and staying true to their heritage, but also bringing that into the future. So some of the silhouettes that we've done, like the dress that we created, I think, you know, we want to provoke like a timeless and classic inspiration and sort of fabrication, but then like bringing that into today's world. And we do that a lot with Malbin. I think we take like cues from the tradition in the past of golf, but then we have to like make it modern for the future. And so that's the fuse that we've sort of created.
Yeah, maintaining the direction was pretty easy. I think Steven and I got on the same page very early. I think we were very inspired again, walking around at the AT&T, and I mean, just the landscape itself is inspirational enough, and then having Q and Macklemore, following them and seeing these kind of entertainers and how much they were enjoying golf and how the crowd enjoyed them sort of drove the inspiration from the very beginning. And then looking into kind of the Clambake and Bing's archives, just there was unlimited amount of inspiration. So that kind of guided us the whole way. The unique details that we brought to this, there's a few different ones, but we tried to stay true to the era, but also true to our two brands. So I think the animal graphics that we spoke about earlier, coming directly from the Clambake marketing was a key inspiration. We even, you know, blended the buckets, Malbin buckets with a squirrel, you know, to really bring something kind of a little bit more fun, but kind of iconic. And then all the old, like from the wooden buttons to some of the details and silhouettes coming from that kind of Bing classic era.
We've been working with Adidas on the Crosby Collection for the last around 18 months, so it's been a very big project for us. I'd say the most exciting thing and the most challenging thing on this project has been the event that we're putting on. It's just been a very big production and there's a lot of moving parts, so it really takes a village to produce an event of this caliber, but it's all coming together really nicely and we're really excited for it. I think it's going to be great.
Well, I do think what you guys are doing is great, and I do think you've pulled on a thread that reflects a lot of what my dad was about in terms of the way he acted and the way he dressed, which is to be approachable and to be casual, but still, you know, together. So thank you. This is great.
Big goals, big goals.